Hey, it's Patrick here. I hope you're having a great day. Today we are talking about spiritual awakening. So, what is a spiritual awakening? Well, spiritual awakening is something that happens to you during the process of spiritual growth. It's when you start to develop your spirituality and develop your spiritual abilities and your spiritual nature. Because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I've heard many people say it, especially Ralph Smart at Infinite Waters. That has been a YouTube channel that I've drawn a lot of inspiration from in the past as well. And one thing that he says is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that's very true. So, in this physical world, in this physical reality, when you can develop your spirituality, and when you start to do that, you will undergo a spiritual awakening. And this is that's the reason why it's called spiritual awakening, because it's like you're awakening. It's like you're waking up from your everyday life, because we go through life, I honestly feel like the first 18, 19 years of my life, up until I started developing my spiritual practice and my spirituality, I feel like it was on autopilot, honestly. Looking back at it. If you think about it too, you might feel the same way. How did you get up to this point right now? It's like, whoa, it just happened. Like, you've had your head down, just living life every day, you know what I mean? Like, you don't very often, I never took a step back and looked at the big picture and, looked at myself and looked at my consciousness and all these things. And I feel like I was on autopilot for most of my life. But when I started the journey of personal growth, spiritual growth, got a frog right here next to me. We got all kinds of animals. We got the cat inside, we got the dog inside, we got the frogs outside. We got birds the other day on my video. So anyways, like I said, when you start, spirituality and you start growing yourself spiritually, you'll start to experience things very differently. The world will start to change around you. That's why it's called an awakening. You feel awake, not only that, but like things start to change, the world around you changes. And one of the most important things is I feel like you're much more aware. Your awareness increases so much when you start meditating, when you start learning about spirituality. And the first step is learning about it, and the second step is applying it. Learning the information and then applying the information. Learning about meditation, do some research, watch some more videos, learn about meditation, learn about yoga, learn about whatever the kinds of spirituality, like a lot of things, astral projection. There's so many different things all based around spirituality, our spiritual abilities, intuition, your third eye. Any of these things that you resonate with, just research them and find out about them, and you'll start to grow spiritually and you will have a spiritual awakening. Or you might be already experiencing a spiritual awakening. But like I said, number one thing, awareness. And what I mean by that is just living in the moment. Because when you meditate, you develop the ability to be in the present moment, and the ability to move your consciousness, take a step back basically in your consciousness and just observe everything and observe your emotions and observe what's happening to you. Because at the deepest root of yourself, you are pure consciousness, if you think about it. You are consciousness experiencing whatever thoughts run through your head, experiencing whatever emotions run through you. But at the back of the person in the driver's seat is your consciousness, basically. So when you can develop that through meditation, you'll start to experience just throughout your day-to-day life, you kind of take a step back and you just feel conscious. Like, I don't know how to explain it. When I started meditating, I'd be at work back when I was working full-time, and I would just be doing something, and all of a sudden I feel like this flush over me, I just feel like super conscious in the moment. Like, I just start, all of a sudden I just you know what I mean? Like, I'm just all of a sudden in the present moment for a while, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just have these random instances where I would just feel super, super present and super, super, aware. And that only happened when I started developing my spirituality. So I feel like that's a huge part of spiritual awakening, because that's the one thing you notice all day. Like, I'll be walking around, I'll be walking to work, because I lived right next to the mall where I worked and these apartments, so I'd just walk over to work. It was actually very nice. But I'll be walking, through under the trees and everything, and I just feel like, especially when I'm out in nature, I would notice I would be very, very conscious and very, very aware of, the present moment and myself and my emotions and my thoughts. And I just felt very, very centered and very, very, just balanced, when I started advancing my spirituality. Another thing that has to do with spiritual awakening is your intuition and other psychic abilities. Because when you can develop your spirituality, you're developing your psychic abilities as well. And intuition is another huge thing. Your intuition is being able to know something in your gut and your heart. Know something is going to be true, or like seeing a vision of the future, or having a strong feeling about something, about a certain person. And that is an ability that you can develop through spirituality, through meditation. When I started doing that, I had a profound intuitive feeling. That's a whole nother story, but this is the only time in my life I experienced something like this. Something happened, and I knew for a fact in my mind that something was going to happen, and it happened. And I had no doubt in my mind, and the timing and everything was like exactly as I imagined, like exactly as I knew in my mind. And it was pretty crazy. Like I said, intuition's a whole nother video, but that is something you can develop. You might have experienced that yourself, having a strong feeling about something, like a gut feeling, because that is actually a human ability. It's kind of a psychic ability, actually, that you can develop and you can nurture and work on. Same thing with astral projection as well. Throughout spirituality and through spiritual growth and learning about spirituality, you might come across astral projection. And I've done a few videos on this before too. Being able to leave your body, your soul being able to leave the body and travel throughout the astral realms. And I have experienced that very slightly. I've experienced a small part of that, but I'm still on my journey. I've experienced some very incredible, visuals and experiences in my attempts of astral projection. And I've done a couple videos, like I said. I'll probably put them in the description as well. But like I said, spiritual awakening just has to do with developing your spirituality. It's when you begin the journey of spiritual growth, and spiritual growth is a long journey. It's a lifelong journey. You're constantly learning, you're constantly increasing your wisdom, you're constantly experiencing, constantly learning new things, especially when you have a regular spiritual practice through yoga, through meditation. You're going to be nurturing that spiritual side of you every moment that you're practicing spirituality and through your spiritual practice. So I believe if you want to achieve a spiritual awakening, I'll probably do another video on exactly how to have a spiritual awakening, but just a few tips for now. Just have a regular spiritual practice every day. Do a little bit of meditation, do a little bit of yoga, whatever it is. Just be in the present moment. And by doing that, you're going to start to develop your spirituality and have a spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is a very big movement that's going on in the world today. If you look around the internet, it's growing constantly. All these things about meditation, about, being in the present moment, about astral projection, all these things are growing and becoming more and more aware because we have a big global awakening that's happening right now. And I believe that's very, very largely in part to the internet and having access to all this information through YouTube, for example. Just like I'm talking to you now. Just the fact that you can access my video right now very easily in high quality nowadays. I'm sure the quality will even be better soon. But the fact that you can do that and access information about everything, any kind of spirituality, astral projection, there's hours and hours and hours, millions of hours of videos out there, and all these articles and books and everything. And the fact that you have access to that, try it out, get some books on spirituality, buy some audiobooks. That's a huge way that I've learned a lot of information through audiobooks. Because I never liked reading my whole life. I never enjoyed reading when I was growing up. My eyes would hurt. My eyes would start stinging. I have an astigmatism, and I just never really enjoyed reading growing up. But just through audiobooks, I've read like a dozen books in the past few months, and I'm reading new books every single month about personal growth, about I've read Think and Grow Rich, The Alchemist, all kinds of just things about consciousness, like all kinds of different books, and that's helped me grow in my spiritual journey. So that's all for today, guys. Let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced any kind of spiritual awakening, or if you're on your path to a spiritual awakening as well. And that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Got plenty more coming soon. Anything of value I can share with you, I'm going to share it. Have a great day. Peace out.